Okay, today I'm going to be discussing with you the difference between the 9mm bullet and the 40 caliber bullet. I'm also going to throw the revolver in there, but the 9mm is 9mm in diameter, okay? The 40 cal is 10mm in diameter. This, in target rounds, we're going to be discussing target rounds, not so much hollow points, because these hollow points are different. They have different gunpowder, which adds to the velocity and just a rubber stopper and all that. So we're going to be talking target rounds. You're looking at an average of about 160 grains in weight when it comes to a 40 cal Smith & Wesson at 1200 feet per second. You're looking at only 115 grains of weight, and we're talking about 1200 feet per second. Now, when you add velocity or weight, you get more momentum. Or if you add velocity and weight, you get momentum. In this case, we are adding weight because both of these go 1200 feet per second, but this actually goes about 150% more momentum than a 9mm. And the only difference is that, besides for the weight, is that the diameter of it is increased by 1mm. Technically, in order to get 150% of a 9mm, you're looking at adding 5mm to this. And that's a pretty thick bullet. So how did they end up doing this, making a bullet that's 1mm thicker in diameter or wider and the same velocity with 50% more weight? Well, what they did was, I'll show you, they put Magnum gunpowder in it. Now here it says 40 Smith & Wesson 357. Now Magnum gunpowder was usually reserved for revolvers. Revolvers are considered the powerhouse guns. A large amount of penetration, a large amount of kick, large bullets. This is actually a 38 special. This is about the this is a 357 mag. This is about the equivalent of a 40 cal Smith & Wesson bullet. So as you can see, one is much longer than the other, but this is made to go in a revolver, the other is made to go in a semi-auto. So they fattened it up a bit, and they made the gunpowder more potent, and what they got was, to add 1 extra millimeter to this and get 50% of the momentum added to the 9mm is amazing, because it should, like I said, be 5mm that you add to it. This is the standard M&P Smith & Wesson 40 cal. It holds 15 bullets plus 1 in the chamber. The standard M&P 9mm holds 17 plus 1 in the chamber. So basically 2 extra bullets for all that weight you're adding to or sacrificing. You only get 2 extra bullets out of a 9mm. I don't know how they got it into exactly this small of a casing. They must have made the gunpowder even more potent than, let's say, the 357 around there, because I don't think that much powder would fit in this casing. And also, when we're looking at this, the 38 specials, roughly, they look about the same size as the 357s, just the 357s are just a hair longer. Also, when you're talking about a revolver, the velocities that they measure them for are for 6 to 8 inch revolvers. For every inch you subtract from that, you lose 75 to 50 feet per second. So a 38 special is looking at around like 800 feet per second out of a snub nose, but they're also very concealable guns and just really pieces of history and works of art. But when you're talking about performance and you're talking about a lot of shots, the semi-auto is pretty much taken over. This is the 9mm compact. I use my 9mm to practice at the range to get better at this one because the 9mm bullets are just a little bit cheaper. The 9mm has been around forever. This bullet started out as experimental and worked its way up. Now, you'll hear people say that this gun, the .40 caliber, wears out quicker because of the extra pressure. Because when all that speed is being applied to the bullet with that weight, yes, there will most definitely be extra pressure in the pistol. However, when they make a gun that needs extra pressure, they reinforce the gun for that extra pressure. For instance, this is a .357 Magnum, but if I had, let's say, a Smith & Wesson model 642, I think it is, that is just .38 Special. Now, if you get the non-air weight, the metal one, it looks identical to this in every way, and it weighs the same. However, in this, there is just a little bit more reinforcement of metal around the cylinders and probably around the barrel and this part here, and that reinforcement allows it to shoot the extra pressure of a .357 round. If you were to tell me that they made the pressure reinforcement to the same standards as a 9mm and a .40 caliber, the .40 caliber would have never been put on the market. It would be blowing up in people's hands all the time. I asked the guys at the gun shop when I first got into guns, don't guns have to meet a certain standard to be sold? And they all laughed at me. And I said, so the gun you're trying to sell me, if out of every 100 shots that somebody shot this gun, it blew up in someone's hand and killed somebody, you would sell it to me. And they're like, oh no, it has to meet safety standards. Well, believe it or not, safety standards do kind of relate with reliability standards in a certain way, meaning that they do have to be safe enough so that the bullet won't explode in your face or the gun blow up in your hand and all that. So, as far as performance, no, there's no standards for that. But the guns do have to be a certain level of safety in order to be sold, and that safety means that the explosion is within the chamber. And when the explosion happens within the chamber, it has to be able to hold up just like a normal gun under any other pressures. And my 22 LR M&P probably definitely could not handle the power of a 9mm, let alone a .40 cal. So yes, a .40 caliber gun is designed to hold up against the pressure of the .40 caliber Magnum load. The 9mm is designed to hold up against the 9mm load. If you were to shoot a 9mm bullet, if you could shove it into a .380 gun, you'd be in trouble. Now, the diameter of a 9mm is actually the same as a .380, but the pressure is completely different. You're talking about a slightly heavier round with 1,200 feet per second when a .380 only goes 800. The gun might blow up on you in that case. But when they sell a gun to shoot .40 caliber bullets, those bullets also have to meet specifications in order to get out of that factory. Gun companies don't get sued often because you can't afford to. They can't afford to put out guns that'll blow up after every 100 shots. Most people who have guns within their lifetime put a few thousand rounds through them, and that's that. So from those guys who say that these guns may wear out quicker, maybe the technology is not there for them to maybe have the lifelong capacity that a 9mm would have. But the beauty of Smith & Wesson is if anything is wrong with your gun, anything at all, you hand it in and they make it like new. The .40 caliber bullet, if it does damage your gun in any way, they'll make sure that you didn't put peanut butter in it and all that stuff. And they'll see if the bullet did the damage, and hell, Smith & Wesson designed the bullet, they designed the gun, they'll fix it for you. Smith & Wesson is great for customer service. That's why I own a lot of them. I know that if this gun wears out, it's going to be just like new after I send it to them. Will it wear out quicker than a 9mm? That's anybody's guess. But if I had to guess which one would wear out quicker if I shot them both the same amount, I would probably go with the 40 cal just because it's a simply newer bullet and newer design. But is it going to ruin your gun? You're going to start to see it wear out before the thing isn't just going to crap out on you when you shoot one bullet and then all of a sudden it stops. And when it starts to, you hand it in a Smith & Wesson for a nice tune-up. But it's truly a wonder how they basically put the powerhouse of a Magnum revolver into a semi-auto and maintain the capacity of around a 9mm magazine capacity. So that being said, don't get worried about a 40 cal wearing out on you. It is reinforced, just like a 38 special is reinforced. Or a 357 is reinforced, because you can't shoot 357s out of a 38 special, but you can shoot 38 specials out of a 357. That's because they're reinforced. Now, I highly doubt these are made to the same standards as a 9mm as far as pressure goes and it being able to handle it. They know the gun is under more pressure with a 40 cal, and they will make sure that that 40 cal can shoot the bullets it's supposed to take, and that's the way guns have been made since the beginning of time, and trial and error is what made them what they are today. So they wouldn't put a bullet out that was unsafe, and they wouldn't sell guns that couldn't handle the bullet. So that being said, you guys take care.